It was a day full of supreme rebuke for Patanjali, its MD Balakrishna and Yoga Guru Ramdev. This has both appeared in the top court today. As the Yoga Guru tendered an unconditional apology over the misleading advertisements case, the apex court came down heavily on Baba Ramdev and Patanjali. It said that Baba Ramdev broke every barrier and has violated its directives left, right and center in the matter. The Supreme Court rejected his apology and called it a mere lip service. Not just that it instructed Patanjali to treat the contempt petition against it with gravity. This after the Patanjali published advertisements despite prior warnings by the Supreme Court and various other courts. Despite Patanjali's claim that its media department was unaware of the order, the court made it very clear that Patanjali's act was an act of absolute defiance. It clearly said that every order passed by the courts across the country has to be respected and that there's need to take contempt cases to a logical conclusion. Well, the apex court also called out the centre and Patanjali's Mili Bhagat. It questioned the centre over its inaction against Patanjali's misleading advertisements and noted that the Ayush Ministry should have been proactive. It had some tough questions for the central government and Ayush Ministry. It said that if the government had issued a notice to Patanjali in the past and had received a response, why was the response not made public? The court informed that the government in the past had said that these products were at best a supplement to the main medicine. Then why wasn't this statement made public? Essentially saying, when the centre knew that Patanjali products were just a supplement to other COVID medicines and that doing away with allopathic treatment during that critical COVID period wasn't right, then why did it not make the citizens of this country aware of this fact? Very important questions by the Supreme Court. Well, it has now sought a reply from the centre and will hear the matter on April 10th. Remember, the top court was hearing a plea of the Indian Medical Association alleging a smear campaign by Ramdev against the COVID vaccination drive and modern system of medicine. In his advertisements, Patanjali had claimed that his medicines are a cure for COVID, HIV, and also treats blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, asthma, obesity, among others, and there were other advertisements as well. This in order to push Ayurveda as a competition to allopathy, in fact, putting it above the modern medicine and allopathy treatment. I'm being joined right now by Dr. Parmeshwar Arora, who's a senior consultant for ATH Ayurveda. Dr. J.A. Jayalal, former National President IMA, and Parvez Memon, who's a senior partner for MZM Legal LLP. Thank you very much, all three of you, for joining us. Well, first, let me go straight across to Dr. Parmeshwar Arora. Sir, if I may ask you, how is Patanjali and those directly linked with him and Baba Ramdev looking at what's unfolded in the Supreme Court? Because by far, if you look for the last few years, this could be one of the strongest judgments that the Supreme Court has passed when it comes to violation of notices under contempt of court.
जी स्नेहा, सबसे पहले तो मैं डेफिनेटली ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट के डिसीजन को एक्सेप्ट करता हूं और हर नागरिक को जो हमारे देश में है, चाहे वो किसी भी प्रोफेशन से है, उसको एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए। और कोर्ट का कंटेम्प्ट जो है वो बिल्कुल भी अप्रिशिएट नहीं किया जा सकता, एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया जा सकता। उस चीज़ के लिए डेफिनेटली कुछ गलत हुआ है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जो वर्ड्स हैं वो डेफिनेटली हम बाबा रामदेव और पतंजलि जो है वो डिजर्व करती है अगर बार बार कहने के बाद भी विज्ञापन दिखाए गए। लेकिन फिर उनका माफ़ी मांग लेना कोर्ट को जो है अनकंडीशनल, कहीं ना कहीं कोर्ट के प्रति उनके जो है जो उनकी श्रद्धा है जो उनको करना चाहिए फैक्ट में उन्होंने किया, इसके लिए फिर मैं उनकी तारीफ भी करता हूं कि बाबा रामदेव ने अनकंडीशनल अपोलॉजी अपनी जो है सबमिट किया ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट में। लेकिन कुछ देर हो गई, मुझे लग रहा है कि यह काम पहले होना चाहिए था, और जब नियम कानून के तहत वो विज्ञापन नहीं हम दिखा सकते तो उनको नहीं दिखाने चाहिए थे। लेकिन स्नेहा, एक बात कहना चाहूंगा यहां पर कि नियम जो है उसके तहत नहीं दिखा सकते, लेकिन एक बात का खुला डिस्कशन ये होना चाहिए, क्या वो नियम जो हम ड्रग एंड कॉस्मेटिक एक्ट की बात करते हैं या मैजिक रेमेडी की बात करते हैं 1954 में जो आया था, क्या वो आयुर्वेद पे एप्लीकेबल होता है कि नहीं होता, ये जो है जरूर कंसिडर किया जाना चाहिए, इस पे जरूर डिबेट होनी चाहिए। क्योंकि स्नेहा, आई एम आयुर्वेदिक प्रैक्टिशनर, आई एम प्रैक्टिसिंग आयुर्वेद फॉर मोर देन 20 years. I see 50-60 patients through Ayurveda every day, and I'm telling you, बहुत सारी ऐसी बीमारियां हैं जहां पर एलोपैथिक विज्ञान, एलोपैथिक साइंस हाथ खड़े कर देती है, एंड हम उन पेशेंट्स को ठीक कर रहे हैं। एंड जब हम मैजिक रेमेडी देखते हैं तो उनमें वो सब बीमारियां
sir, with all due respect, I do not want to get into those claims, because those claims have no bearing whatsoever on the discussion that we are having today. You want us to see whether that has bearing, if the existing act has bearing on Ayurveda, that is something we can look into. But beyond that, what you are claiming, sir, about Ayurveda having solutions to what modern medicine doesn't, that is way beyond. I am not going to entertain that claim, sir. I am sorry, this is exactly what the court is also saying. Sir, allow me, sir. I allowed you. Sir, I allowed you. Sir, मैंने आपको allow किया. Allow me to go to others as well. Allow.
कि वो सेम जो हमारा मैजिक रेमेडी
Dr. Parmeshwar, I will come back to you. Do not worry. I will come back to you. Dr. Parmeshwar, allow me to come back to you. All right. If I can just go to Dr. J.A. Jayalal at this point, please. Former National President for IMA. Dr. Jayalal, I do not want to derail, and it's very important that we don't derail. I do not want this to become a discussion of what is medicine, where medicine fails, where Ayurveda takes off, and all of that. That's not the point of this discussion. My question is, how can anybody go and be a complete contempt of court?
Yeah, I mean,
Dr.
this
J.A.
again,
Jayalal, if you can hear us.
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. Yeah, this is again, it restores a confidence in the legal system. However mighty we are, we need to be an abiding, law-abiding citizen. And in front of law, everybody is same. So this is a huge event which has taken place after repeated complaints from the various sections to the Government of India, the state of Uttarakhand, and Ministry of Ayush. And in fact, even the Ayush Ministry and both the Uttarakhand Licensing Authority, the Drug Licensing Authority, both of them have questioned. Both of them cautioned this Divya Pharmacy and Patanjali group that don't go for beyond an advertisement. We are nothing against them, but only things giving a wrong message to the people. It has been resulting in an unfortunate situation of the healthcare of our country. So for that, we have filed a case in the Supreme Court. And the Honorable Supreme Court has positively heard that.
Dr. Parmeshwara, Mr. Parmeshwara added one important, asked a question. Can you clarify this to us? Does the existing law under which this is being tried in the court, I'm asking your question, Mr. Parmeshwara, we'll get back to you, let others answer, please. Does this include Ayurveda as of now?
Asking the question to me?
Yes, Mr. Jayalal, the laws that are there as guidelines, the laws that are there right now under which this subject matter is being tried in court, does that apply to Ayurveda?
As far as I am concerned, absolutely yes.
It's not clear.
All right. Okay. Now, if I can just go across to Parvez Memon at this point. I think we have some audio issues. We'll try and rectify that. But Parvez Memon, if I can ask you this question, how do you look at the Supreme Court's verdict in this particular case? This is by far a huge, scathing takedown of what Supreme Court itself has called as a huge defiance of the might of law, if I may use this word, because this is exactly how the Supreme Court has intended it.
Yeah, Sneha, there are two aspects to this problem that we are discussing today. One is about the Indian Magical Remedies Act, and other aspect of this is the Contempt of Court Act. So we will have to go into the history of this litigation, which emanates out of the Indian Magical Remedies Act, which in my view is applicable equally to Ayurveda, allopathy, or any other homeopathy streams of science, because it deals with misleading advertisements claiming to have magical remedies on people, that they would be cured by magic. To give you an example, there is a schedule provided under the Indian Magical Remedies Act where acts relating to growing of height, or changing of skin color, or curing of cancer, or such things which cannot be cured otherwise, they claim to cure. So unfortunately, in our country, Sneha, religion and superstition rule more over science and technology. If you see the figures of Patanjali here, the company in question, Patanjali Ayurveda has traded, their revenue last year was more than 10 crore annually. So you can see how people are being misguided through such ads and are given into this COVID and all situations. Going back from Indian
All right.
Magical Remedies
Okay.
Act, the second aspect of this is the contempt of court. Now, when the Supreme Court has asked you to give an undertaking that you will not indulge into that act again, thereafter, after November, you again repeat that same offense in defiance of your undertaking to the Supreme Court, is a grave contempt. Now, when you commit a contempt and you go back to the Supreme Court,
Absolutely.
the least that you can do is tender an unconditional apology. Now, Dr. Arora today here is misinformed that Baba Ramdev and the other director went with an unconditional apology. The fact of the matter is that the apology was not unconditional. They were trying to shift the blame to their media agency of Patanjali, and so also they were again trying to reiterate
Okay.
that the
Just
Magical
hold
Remedies
that,
Act
just hold that
should
thought there.
not
Let me
apply.
just get Dr. Parmeshwar Arora to respond. Dr. Parmeshwar Arora, are you listening to this? This was not even an unconditional apology that was being produced before the court, sir.
No, no, it's a absolutely unconditional apology, and now we are not seeing any advertisement from Patanjali on TV channels. And बट मैं बार बार एक रिपीट करना चाहूंगा कि देखिए एक बहुत बड़ी मिस्टेक हो रखी है, एंड दिस इज द पॉइंट व्हेन इवन the media, the Court of India, the Ayush, and the Health Department, they should come together and decide whether this magic drug act जो है that is applicable for Ayurveda or not. Because Sneha, I tell you, there are hundreds of diseases which is incurable in allopathic science, but we are curing on daily basis. So इट इज नॉट लाइक कि आप ही बताएंगे, कौन कौन बताएगा कि हाँ आयुर्वेद सही है या गलत है, ये बीमारी यहाँ पे ठीक होती कि नहीं होती. आई कैन टेक 10 names right now which is said to be incurable in allopathic science, but we are curing.
I am again reiterating this, and it is very important for my viewers to know. I am not endorsing anything, and I am not taking away any endorsement. Our point of contention here is very clear. Do not cross the line when there is something which has been directed very clearly. When there is an undertaking before the court and you say you will not give any misleading advertisements, you will not make any claims, and Baba Ramdev tries then to say that there is huge research. What research are we talking about? What research has this been corroborated from across the world, please, sir? Which journal has this been published in?
Who will check? Who will check? Sneha, we have to decide who will check that research. Who will check that research? Whether an allopathic doctor will check the Ayurvedic research. Who will check? I think Ayush Ministry should come forward and check that research and certify it. No, we don't want any allopathic doctor to check our research.
No, I'm sorry, sir. How can an Ayush Ministry decide that it's only a government? They are not scientific experts. I'm sorry, they are not medicinal experts, but I will allow Dr. Jayalal to respond to this. How do you respond to what Mr. Parmeshwar is saying at this point, sir? How do you respond to Dr. Parmeshwar says?
Yes, sir, two things. One is the Union Ayush Ministry has written to Patanjali saying that your advertisement is not right and it should not be advertised. Second, he said about the magic remedy side. I will just read the Magic Remedy Act, section 2, section C. magic remedy includes the talisman, mantra, kavacha, miraculous powers for the diagnostic, cure, or mitigation. It doesn't talk about any kind of system of medicine. Anything which you are saying that this is going to cure something, and there are 54 conditions are well explained, and these 54 conditions, including your liver failure, cancer, that you are going to give a magic remedy, that should not be advertised. This is an act, and this is a purely an act parliament passed by our parliament in 1956. So based on that act, we have complained to the government that he is proclaiming, somebody is proclaiming that they are able to cure, which is misleading the people. So the government has responded to that. Union Ministry has written to him that you should not do that. And similarly, the court has said earlier, so here nothing offends in the personal. It is
Dr.
only
Jayalal,
the
before
system.
I end this show, one question. What the Supreme Court has said is something that we have been asking repeatedly. Isn't this hugely erroneous that the government has actually not intervened despite undertakings by Patanjali saying that they will not do so and so, they will not give out advertisements, and yet they gave out advertisements and this center did not do anything?
As far as I am concerned, it's the Ministry of the Ayush has definitely said that it is wrong, but they have not taken any proceeding act on the God. Normally, naturally it is expected the Ministry of Ayush should have taken action and should have controlled. And if it is not, somebody is continuously doing that, they should have taken remedial actions on them. But they have only said it is a wrong, but they have not taken any action on that.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. Of course, this case is going to come up before the court again, but a huge order, remarks by the court against Patanjali, primarily trying to establish the might of law and to say defiance of this sort is going to be absolutely unacceptable. Dr. Parmeshwar Arora, Dr. Jayalal, as well as Parvez Memon, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.